I'm asking a question on behalf of my wife. She knows that the Catechism says that we can know God with certainty by the natural light of human reason, but is a Catholic obliged to believe that there must be some philosophical argument that successfully proves God, or could the knowing of God that the Catechism is referring to there be something within human reason but outside of what we might recognize as formal philosophical or logical arguments?
Well, it's going to depend on what you count as a philosophical argument. I mean, St. Paul has, a basic argument in the book of Romans for the existence of God. It's not framed in the way modern philosophy would frame it. It's phrased more informally than that. So you could state the case for God informally. And if you don't call that a philosophical argument, then it wouldn't be a philosophical argument. On the other hand, I tend to think of philosophical arguments not in terms of the level of formality with which you state them, but in terms of the sources of information that you're drawing on. If you're drawing on, for example, divine revelation, like what's in the Bible, then that's not philosophy, that's theology. And if you're drawn exclusively on the natural sciences, well, that wouldn't be philosophy either. That would be natural science. But if you're drawing on principles of reason with maybe some input from the sensory observation of the universe, I would consider that philosophy. And so when the Catechism says, and it's quoting here from the First Vatican Council, which infallibly defined that we can know God by the light of natural human reason. I think it's most natural to understand the Council in terms of philosophical argumentation. So you're drawing on reason with maybe a little bit of input from, observation of the world, but principally on reason. So when it says by natural human reason, I think what it's referring to there is philosophical reasoning. Although I'd be interested if your wife has an alternative argument that's not based on philosophical reasoning, I'd be interested in hearing it.
How does that strike you, Colin?
Yeah, I think she was just more concerned about whether a particular argument that exists right now successfully does that. Are we obliged to believe that out of Kalam and contingency and all those, that one of them must actually do this successfully?
No, what the First Vatican Council defined, and the Catechism is repeating, is that it is possible to deduce the existence of God from reason, but that doesn't endorse any specific argument. The Catechism, in its section on this, does allude to the 5 ways of Thomas Aquinas, but not in such a way that it mandates them. So you could look at Aquinas's arguments and say, I don't think these do it. Certainly a lot of people have looked at them and said they don't do it in the form they're stated. You would need to refine them and supplement them and so forth, because Aquinas wasn't even trying to give a full presentation of them. He presented them very briefly in the Summa Theologiae, which is itself, as its name implies, it's a summary of theology. So it's only giving you a short summary of the argument or the arguments. If you wanted to give a detailed presentation of them, it would need to be much more elaborate, and Aquinas doesn't provide that here, and various thinkers in the Thomistic tradition have elaborated their own versions of the arguments, but the Church does not sign off on one particular argument as this is the one, or this is one of the ones. There's liberty of opinion on that.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this Catholic Answer, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out our live streams Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific. Or find the episode after on YouTube, your favorite podcast platform, or our Catholic Answers app.